Hello everyone, I'm Alicia. For this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this Majestic bracelet. Now, I love this bracelet, it's beautiful, but there are some things about it I need to let y'all know before we get started. You cannot use monofilament fishing line to make this bracelet, and the reason why is because these white 11-aught seed beads here, it's impossible to get the fishing line to go through them. I spent so much time on trying to get monofilament to work. Now, I did find out if you skip the step of adding these 6-aught seed beads right here, the green ones, you can make the bracelet with monofilament. And this is what it looks like without these 6-aught seed beads. An idea that I had to get the 6-aught seed beads to work, but I haven't tried it, was instead of using these white 11-aught seed beads, maybe if they were 10-aught or 8-aught seed beads, you could use monofilament fishing line to make this bracelet with the sides on. But I don't know if it'll work because I haven't tried it yet. So if anyone tries it, please tell me below so everyone else will know if it works or not. So to make this bracelet, you will need 10 feet of fireline. I usually don't like cutting small pieces of thread and then tying it off and adding more. I feel like the bracelet doesn't turn out as great as it could be. But for tutorial video filming purposes, I will be using a short piece of thread because my thread gets caught on my tripod and it's kind of hard to film when the tripod's moving around. So I went and did the main stitch here already. And I'm going to show you how to do the sample of the stitch now. And this is a time-consuming bracelet, just to let y'all know. This is not something that you can make in 30 minutes. Here is the list of materials you're going to need to make this bracelet. You're going to need 10 feet of fireline. Now you can use 6-pound or higher if you're using sharp beads. Then you could use an 8-pound or a 10-pound test. Fireline is pretty thin, so it does work well with a lot of things. Now, you're going to need 11-aught seed beads in 2 colors. You're going to need a clasp of your choice. I'm using a lobster claw clasp, and I'm using 2 jump rings. You can also use a toggle for this bracelet. It's really pretty with a toggle. And here are the measurements for what you will need to make, as in what size bracelet you're going to want. If you want a 7.5-inch bracelet, you will need 53 of these 6mm rounds. If you, again, 7.5-inch bracelet, you will need 24 6-aught seed beads or 3mm rounds. Now for an 8-inch bracelet, you will need 57 6mm rounds, and you will need 26 6-aught seed beads or 3mm rounds. Now, I'm actually going to be using these 3mm rounds for this bracelet, and this here is going to be the little sample I'm going to teach you how to do. If I left any information out or you didn't understand something, it'll all be in the info box thing below the video, all the stuff and supplies you will need. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to start by picking up a 6mm round, seed bead, 6mm round, seed bead, 6mm round, and a seed bead. Now slide them down and leave a 12-inch tail. Now my bead mat is actually 12 inches long, so that's how I know it's 12 inches. And the 12-inch tail is important because we need that to be quite long so we can go back and reinforce. So I'm going to take my needle and go through the 6mm round and the 11-aught seed bead, just like this. Pull it through, like this, and make sure that you have a 12-inch tail. And I do. So now I'm going to take and pick up 8 seed beads. I'm going to do it in a different color. And I'm going to go, flip my work, so my thread's acting out this way. I'm going to go through this next seed bead and out the 6mm round. Pull it slow so you don't get tangled. And we should have this. And now I'm going to pick up, I'm going to zoom in just a tad. I'm going to pick up an 11/0 C bead, a 6mm round, 11/0, 6, and 11. Slide them down, and I'm going to go through this 6mm round and through this first C bead I just added. Tighten up my work. Tension is important on this bracelet. It does get loose in some areas, but I'll show you how to tighten it up if it does. Now I'm exiting out of this 11/0 C bead, and I have to pick up 8 11/0 in a different color. I do 4 at a time because if you accidentally pick one up, it will show in your bracelet. So I'm exiting out of this C bead here. I'm going to go through this 11/0 in this 6mm round. Pull my thread through. And now we have this. So if you turn it this way, this is what we're working up right here. This is the loop here, and this is the loop there. So now we have to go on and make another loop here. Now pick up an 11/0, 6mm, 11/0, 6mm, 11/0, and slide them down. Now go through this 6mm and the first 11/0 that we string on. Pull your thread. And see how there's a gap here when you open it up? It's because you gotta tighten it up. And pull your tail end too. Tightens it up. Now exiting out of this 11/0 C bead, pick up 8 C beads in a different color. And go through this 11/0 and out the 6mm round. Now, something I want to let you know, when you're working with a really long tail, which mine was short, because remember I told you, pull the tail through your needle. Pull a lot of the tail through your needle, and it makes your thread shorter. But don't do a double thread, so see my thread is still single. Now, when the end of my tail starts getting closer to my work, I just slide my needle down to the closer to the end of my tail. It makes it easier to work with. So exiting out of this 6mm round, this means that we have to pick up an 11/0 C bead, 6mm round, 11, 6, 11. Slide it down. Go through the 6mm and out through the 11. Pull your thread. And tighten it up. Sometimes I realize if you hold the thread in that string and pull the C beads, here it tightens it up. And now I have to pick up 8 C beads because I'm exiting out that black 11. And go through, I'm exiting out of this one, go through this 11/0 and out through this 6mm. And now this means we're exiting out the 6, means we have to pick up an 11, a 6, an 11, a 6, an 11. Slide it down. Go through the 6mm and the 11/0 C bead. And pick up 8 11/0 C beads. Pull it snug and go through, exiting out of this 11/0, go through this 11/0 C bead and out the 6mm round. Now, exiting out the 6mm, this means that we need more C beads. So, 11/0 C bead, 6mm round, 11/0, 6 and 11. Slide them down. Pass through the 6mm in the first 11/0 we just added. And now pick up 8 11/0 C beads. And go through this 11/0 and out through the 6mm round. So you can see our work is starting to make sense now. It's starting to look more like the bracelet. So I'm going to go a little bit more and use up my beads to show you guys, to make sure you got this. Exiting out of this 6mm round, pick up an 11/0, 6mm, 11, 6, 11, slide it down, go through this 6mm and out through the 11/0 C bead. Now see this? My tail is just getting really close to my work, so I'm going to slide my needle down towards the end of my tail. So now we have to pick up 8 11/0 C beads. And I can't catch any. Go through the 11 in the 6mm round. And tighten my work up because it's getting loose. Keep going. 11, 6, 11, 6, 11. Through the 6, out through the 11/0. Then pick up 8 11/0 in a different color. Go exiting out of this bead, we're going to go through this 11 and out this 6mm round. Now pick up an 11/0, 6mm, 11, 6 and 11. Slide it down, go through this 6 and out through the 11/0 C bead. Pick up 8 11/0, different color. Exiting out this 6mm round, I'm going to go through this 11 and through this 6mm bead. In my last stitch, 11, 6, 11, 6, 11, slide them down, go through the 6mm round, out to the 11/0 C bead, the one we just added, remember, pull it through, tighten up your work. You can see this bead here, or you can see the thread. Pull this, tightens it, and then pull this string. And now it's tightened. And then pick up your 8 C beads. And for some reason, I have 7. But I'm going to pretend it's 8 because this is just a sample. And go through the 6mm round. Now, maybe my 8th is in that loop. Now, keep going until you get to the size bracelet you want. 7.5" bracelet or the 8" bracelet. Until you have this. Alright, so now I'm at the length of my bracelet and I'm going to add my clasp. And this is what it looks like. Now, my jump ring on my clasp is already closed, so I'm just going to pick it up with my seed beads. So I'm going to pick up 9 seed beads. One more seed bead this time, makes it a little bit bigger for a clasp to move. My clasp. And now, my string's exiting out the bottom, so I'm going to go through this direction. Now, we have our little loop here, and I will reinforce this later. But for now, we have to add those. So I'm going to go through this silver 11-aught seed bead right here. If I could catch it. Through this 11-aught seed bead. Pull it. And now I'm going to go through all of these seed beads right here in this loop. I'm going to try to do 4 at a time to make it faster. And also to make it faster, if you just pull the thread out a little bit and then go through more, and then you have a little loop here, pull it again, and then you're going through like 9 seed beads at a time, then you could pull your arm straight. Now I'm exiting out of this silver one. I'm going to go through this silver seed bead here, through this silver one, and also through this first seed bead here in the loop. Now us doing this, going through all those, is making it rounder. If you could see here, these seed beads are moving and it's a little messy looking. So pull your string through, and we're exiting out of this bead here. I'm going to pick up a 3mm round or a 6/0 seed bead, depending on what you want to use, and I'm going to go through this first seed bead right here, the one that is not silver, it's blue, through these 2 seed beads, and then through this 11, and then through all of these over here. I'm going to try to pick up 4. There we go. I'll pull it on through, and we have this. See how all this is being pulled together now? It's looking much tidier. So I'm going to go through all these seed beads here. We got 4. I'm going to go through all the 3 silver. So it's like we're going straight ahead, and then we're stopping and we're going backwards and adding that 3mm round. Through this silver and out this one. Sorry if I go to the left some. Because my camera, how it's set up in front of me, I tend to go this way because the view screen, how it is in my camera. So exiting out of this bead, I'm going to pick up a 3mm round and go through this first colored seed bead here, and through the silver seed bead too. And I think I forgot to mention that I'm using a size 10 beading needle. See what a cold does to your brain? Now, out of this bead, I'm going to go through this silver one, through the next silver one, and sometimes it's hard to go through this one when you exit out of that one. So, go through this one now, and I'm going to try to go through 4. I got 3. That'll do. Pull it. Go through all of these. Go through this one and all the silvers again. This, I cannot believe how much adding the 3mm beads, how much thread it takes up. I was really shocked. So, through these 2 silver, and also through this last colored one here, like this. Pull your thread. And what did I get cut on? The problem is that I was letting my tail get too close to my work, so you might have that problem too. So slide your needle down your tail once your tail starts getting close to your work. So exiting out of that seed bead, I'm going to go through this 11 knot here and through the silver one, and then through this silver 11 over here, and then through the first colored seed bead there. And I'll go through all these seed beads here again and exit out of this one. Three, 4, through all 3 silver seed beads. I just went through 2, so I'm going to go through my last silver one here, and down through this purple one. Pick up a 3mm round and go through this seed bead and through the 3mm, or through the silver seed bead, excuse me. Go through these 2 seed beads here, the 2 silver, and through as many of these beads here in the next loop as you could get. And there's the tripod. Go down through the next row of seed beads. Look at that, I managed to do all of them. Go through all 3 silver, I already went through 1. Go through the next seed bead here. And now pick up another 3mm bead and go through, back through these seed beads here in your loop. Ouch! Go through these silver seed beads here, these 2, down through this second one, and then go through as many of these as you can. Now keep doing this stitch repeatedly all the way until you get to this side of your bracelet, and I'll show you what to do next. So it's just the same stitch all the way over here. Keep going. So I kept on going, and I did this whole side, and now I'm down here. With my working thread, I went through all of these seed beads here, and I exited out of the silver one. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tail, which was 12 inches long, and I'm going to pick up 9 seed beads and my jump ring. I'm going to try to do this without a needle. Okay, now my tail's on this side. I'm going to take and pass my tail through the 6mm bead, just like this. And now I'm going to take my working thread with the needle, and I'm going to pass through all of these C beads that I just added. And if it gets loose, don't worry about it, just pull your tail. For all 9. I got one left. To the 9th one. And then I'm going to go down this silver one. So now pull both of your strings. Pull the tail and pull your working thread, and it's starting to tighten up. Pull this here to tighten up more. Alright, now don't worry about your tail anymore. Now we have to get in position to add more of our 3mm rounds or 6/0 C beads. So exiting out of here, I'm going to go through this 11/0 silver one. Then I'm going to go through all of these C beads here. Now, go through all of these here and come out of this one right here, this purple one, and start adding in your 3mm beads again, just like we did on this side. And then once we get to here, I'll show you what to do next. So do the same exact thing that I showed you to do with adding the 3mm round. So as you can see, I kept on going, and now I have both sides of my bracelet filled. Now I'm exiting out of this silver C bead right here, so I went all the way around here after I put my last one in. So as you can see, we didn't reinforce my clasp, so I'm gonna go through all these C beads and reinforce it. I'll go through these. Through the last C bead. I'm going to go down through these silver C beads because they're also not reinforced into my clasp. And then I'm going to go through all these ones right here. Through all of them. Go through this silver one and out this 6/0. Now for tying knots, I'm right here. I'm going to grab this thread right here, make a loop and go through it twice. Pull it down and then go through this C bead. Then I can make another knot here. Grab this thread, go through the loop twice, pull it, and go through this 3mm round. Now I'm going to work my way back up to this here and go through these, or not 3mm rounds, 6mm. I'm going to work my way back up and work my way through these here again because I only went through like these like one time, and make it stronger because I'm worried about my bracelet breaking. Grab up a thread and make a loop and go through it twice, 1/2 inch knots. Go through this one into the 6. Tie a knot here. Actually, I'll go through this 11. And then I'll tie a knot here. Go through the loop twice. Pull it down. Then go through the 6mm. And I'm going to work my way back down my bracelet. Oops. Almost lost my needle. Go through this one. Go through this one. I already tied knots in this area. So I'm gonna go back down the bracelet only through the silver 11/0 that are in between here, 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 and tie knots and try to use up as most of my thread as I can. And I'll do the same on this side too. This one's coming out of this 6mm round, so I would put a needle on this thread. I would go through the 11, tie a knot here, go through the 6mm, go through this 11, tie a knot here, go through this one, go through there, come through here, come back down and zigzag, going back and forth, tying knots, using up most of my thread. Okay, so this is my Majestic bracelet tutorial, and I want to thank everyone for watching and for subscribing to me. It makes me so happy. And also, I wanted to share a little idea I have. So, remember I said you could add the beads in the sides, 3mm or 6mm, and you could also make the bracelet without adding beads on the sides. Another idea I had, for those of you that don't have, say, 57, 54, 6mm beads, something you could do is do different colors, and it would be at angles, and this would give you a totally different look. So, say this bead would be blue, these three right here, red, this one blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, and so on, and it would give you a totally different look. So play around with colors, it doesn't hurt, and don't be afraid to make something and then you have to take it apart and remake it, because that's how designing jewelry happens. You have to have mistakes and stuff like that. So thanks for watching. Sorry I haven't made a video in a while. I've been sick. And I'm still sick, and hopefully I'll be better around my next tutorial and I won't sniffle the whole time. So thanks for watching. Check me out on Facebook, and I'll see you in my next tutorial. Thanks again, guys. Bye for now.